Oh, yeah. Oh, my tag's out. It's Dominic D'Angelo. It's Rumor Innuendo. It's a Friday. I'm flying solo today. Man, Robert, after all my tech issues I had, everything like that, ready to line up and go, Robert just bails on me. No, he's got some work to do. But we all got some work to do, and we got some heavy card to cover when it comes to AEW All In. Plus, we'll do a little preview of SmackDown. Appreciate everybody joining in right here on adfreeshows.com YouTube, on the Working Stiff YouTube, on the Rumor and Innuendo YouTube, on Robert Karpolis's Twitter account, X account, and on the SE Scoops X account. It feels good to be back in Pittsburgh. Vegas was a lot of fun. Got to put over big time Cauliflower Alley reunion. What an event that is. What's the best way to put it? An underserved event in so many ways. That it's neat to see a lot of alumni, big time like wrestling legends and stuff, giving back to the wrestling business in regards to Kurt Angle was there, was inducted, received the Luthez Award. Sting received the Mike Mazurki Award, Iron Mike Mazurki Award, and Bill Alfonso received the Referee Award. Those three names I take note of because they were big time in donating to the Cauliflower Alley. Sting took an hour of his time earlier in the day before his induction to sign and take photo ops where all those donations would just go to the Cauliflower Alley Club. Same with Kurt Angle on night 2. He did the very same thing. Fonzie, my co-host, the star of Right Down the Middle, just on the spur of the moment, took 3 ECW titles that he had Rob Van Dam sign them, had the Dudley sign them, and he himself signed them, and then auctioned them away just to give to the Cauliflower Alley reunion. I highly recommend, if you're a wrestling fan, if you're just somebody that likes Vegas too, but obviously if you're listening to this, you're a wrestling fan. So if you like Vegas and you like a weekend and you want to kind of help out the wrestling community and just appreciate the time that you get with all these legends and current talent too that show up, look into becoming a Cauliflower Alley Club member. It's an annual membership, seriously, only like $39. And then you go to the event, to the plaza, you buy your ticket there for the 3 days there, very reasonably priced. And then it's a weekend, make a weekend out of it. Or a week out of it, because I guess it's Monday through Wednesday. But yes, I wanted to put over the Cauliflower Alley reunion. B. Brian Blair, Medusa, Joe Dombrowski, Jimmy Hart. They were all there, like Medusa, Jimmy, and Joe were all the MCs basically of the show and did a wonderful job. B. Brian Blair is the president of it all, and just a wonderful event. And you want to preserve the legacy of the business and keep that going. WWE has rented out a table too for it, and then helped cover a lot of amenities and stuff for the talent there too. So they're all involved. So just a really, really cool experience, and it's neat to see that hat being tipped to these legends that have gotten maybe have struggled or gone through their own thing and stuff like that, and just a really remarkable ceremony. So I highly recommend it to anybody. I'll cover that more on OneTrueSportTV.com. You'll be able to see a lot of the speeches be posted up there on OneTrueSportTV.com. So give that a look. Let's give a shout out to some folks here. Joseph Wade Walters, morning everybody except for Ronda Rousey. I will talk about that. Here for Dom and all his sleeveless glory. Look, I got sleeves. I was read the riot act while I was in Vegas by my friend about wearing no sleeves all the time. And so I'll balance it out a little bit more. It's summertime though. I'm sweating a lot. Hey, promo code ShopMando. Use promo code Rumor. ShopMando.com. Promo code Mando. Boom. Good morning. Happy Friday, Alt Jake. Yeah. Hey, RNI. Welcome back, Dom. Thank you, Stuart. And then we got Cammy Star. Welcome to Rumor Innuendo, Scotty and the Scotty Internet Connection. Right? That's been the going trend this week. We had Kev Kellum. Thank you so much to Kev subbing in yesterday. He's an ultimate pro. If you don't follow Kev, give him a follow at Kev Kellum on X. He does some wonderful work. He's just, boom, on the ball. For one of the first people I met doing this whole thing. And just the nicest guy and the most professional, I will say, out of everybody that I've worked with. So he's very, very good at what he does. just kind of like Wolverine. Um, Friends, let other friends go. Thank you, Travis. Thank you. See, I agree with that. It's summer. I'm not going to go sleeveless in the wintertime. What do you think? I'm nuts? Huh? I kind of am nuts. But what is nuts is this AEW All In card. It is jam packed. But I guess we'll try to preview SmackDown first. Quick plugs for things. If you haven't checked out Working Stiff, check that out now. Scott and Robert cover what happened on Raw and WWE, but they also go in depth about AEW and preview AEW All In. So if you want to get Robert's preview of All In, you can go to the Working Stiff podcast, subscribe, give that baby 5 stars, and shout out to Scott Chaplin as well. Let's see what the SmackDown preview has for us tonight, August 23rd. Here, I'm reading this courtesy of WrestlingHeadlines.com. So the road to WWE Bash in Berlin continues tonight in Washington, D.C. WWE SmackDown returns this evening. In DC Capital 1. Oh my God, I'm all over the place here. On tap for tonight's 2-hour WWE Fox. Geez, lots of stuff. Is Bloodline, Jacob Fatu, and Tama Tonga taking on the Street Profits for the WWE Tag Team Championship, as well as LA Knight versus Santos Escobar for the WWE United States Championship. Scheduled for non-title action is Naomi, Jade Cargill, and Bianca Belair taking on Blair Davenport, Alba Fire, and Isla Dawn, as well as Cody Rhodes chatting with Grayson Waller on the Grayson Waller effect to show how just much of a bad guy he can truly be. So pretty good card there. It's kind of surprised. I only tuned into the highlights last week with SmackDown, but the fact that they're giving away this tag team title match already is kind of surprising. But you want to get eyes on the product too. And then, hey, on top of it too, you're getting this United States Championship with him and Santos Escobar. I hope this is more of a further of the storyline between the two, because I think these guys could have a good program together. Like I said before on here, I love Santos Escobar and what he does. I think he's very undervalued at this moment in time. And, I'm sure his moment's going to come here. But it's just like you want to reheat a guy like that up because he adds so much to the product, I think, from a heel perspective or a babyface perspective, which maybe this will propagate him into going back to babyface. And I think that's a line and a trajectory that would be very good for him. So we'll see what happens. Let's see. Oh, this is a good question, Devin. Does the new bloodline get to use the Freebird rule? The eye patch brother, that's Tongaloa, has the title last week, but he definitely didn't win it. I think they're going to use the Freebird rule. I think that adds to the heelish factor of them because, hey, he didn't win the title. It was Jacob Fatu and Tama Tonga. So I think that would kind of add that perspective of not only one being unpredictable and chaotic, but you're getting this heel thing like, hey, where's Fatu? He's the one that won the titles, basically. What are we doing here? Huh? What's up with that? So, I think I don't know for a fact, can't say it, but I think that would be a good move if they actually did that. Yes, Jake, this is the penultimate SmackDown on Fox. They said that too. Didn't they say that on Raw? That kind of popped me. Oh, let's see. Let's see. We might have a special guest coming in here. Let me see. Well, you just got to give me a second. But yes, as far as Grayson Waller chatting with Cody Rhodes, man, that's going to be a cool dynamic. Cody Rhodes and Grayson Waller. You have a good baby face in Cody Rhodes, and then you have Grayson Waller, who's been this obnoxious heel and just doing such a great job at like teasing this breakup with him, or at least very much tension between him and Austin Theory. We're going to get a breakup with those guys. And maybe tonight we will further that storyline when it comes to what, what that breakup is going to be with Grayson Waller and Austin Theory. So this is a good card tonight. And a way to kind of heat up the weekend and get people excited for Bash at Berlin, which is already looking like a good card. So, trying to think what else, if there's anything else I want to comment when it comes to SmackDown. No, I think it'll be good. I'm curious how this all is going to lay out for the Street Profits. Can't imagine them winning the titles. So maybe this huge momentum building up for Montez and Angelo Dawkins will cause something to happen where they split up. Montez becomes a singles guy, and we see the rise of Montez Ford. Also, Angelo Dawkins is his own talent too in his own right. So I'd like to see him flourish in a different thing too. You never know what can lay out for another talent there too. So pretty cool stuff. Yes, we do have a special guest. If you give me a moment to lay out a little thing differently than what I have on tap here, give me a second, just a second. Boom. All right, he's not Robert Karpeles.
No, I'm not.
Look at
I'm not Robert Karpeles.
He's not Robert Karpeles. He's not a former WWE writer, but he's a professional. He is Kevin Kellam. I almost called you Robert Karpeles because I was looking at the name.
I'll take it. Hey, he's got more followers than me. I'll take it, buddy.
Hey, you know what? If we combine our followers together, we still wouldn't have as much followers.
No, we wouldn't.
Well, thanks for joining, Kev.
So happy to be in the ad-free shows family once again. Just a little dust into that. Yeah.
Yes, the ecoscape of it all. It's nice to reconnect. Kev and I used to work together at WrestleZone.
I could do that now in an airport. I did that in the airport this past year at WrestleMania. Somebody came out and they don't know you. They just say like WrestleZone or something like that, which is nice. It's still a compliment of your work or something like that. Some people think they take. I was with my girlfriend one time and somebody came up and said, "You do the video?" I was like, "Yeah." And this isn't about me. It was just about the weird interactions. You see someone you know on the internet, you never met them in real life, and so I'm just like, "Hey, where do you watch the show?" And then the other guy said, "Well, you're on this, and then you were on WrestleZone." And my girlfriend's like, "What? Why did he sing at you?" I was like, "Well, so I would do this song." I had to explain it to her. Yeah, so it was weird. God. Yeah, when somebody's not in on the joke, and you have to explain to them the inside joke.
Did they have a plethora of Funko Pops for you to sign while you're at the airport? And
yes. Oh no Funko Pops. No, but they don't make the head big enough for me. So that's the problem.
Oh.
Physically, I have a large, I would describe as structurally unsound skull. You know what I mean?
So you have a squash on your head.
Big old melon on there.
Big old melon. Kev Melon, not Kev Kellam.
Oh, come on now. That's unnecessary.
Hey, listen.
But I hopped in the other day. Great episode. I always go long when I'm on with Robert Karpeles. I always go long with him if you're a rumor or innuendo. And by the way, I know the running joke of Billy in the CW. I got a Billy Corgan conversation in the show.
Ooh, yes, you did. Yesterday, you talked. Yeah, you was at the Green Day show, right?
Yes, I was Smashing Pumpkins Green Day, and they did wrestling on stage. They did like a wrestling thing during Smashing Pumpkins set. Someone took a cutter on stage.
No shit. Okay.
Yeah.
Ooh, I swear on here, but
yeah.
Hey, that's great stuff. I plan to see them September 1st here in Pittsburgh.
So good. 30 Green. It's Smashing Pumpkins open up for Green Day Rancid as well. Get there early because this is a lot of people get into like a 40,000 seat stadium. Takes a while, by the way. And Pumpkins are great. They play the hits. Everyone thinks they're not because Corgan said, sometimes I don't like playing hit songs. And then everyone just ran to the races with that. But no, they crushed it. And Green Day does 37 songs. But we got to do some wrestling because I'm away from the wrestling commentary. I've already strayed from that.
Yeah, we do it. Let's just preview All In. I previewed SmackDown already, so we knocked that away. But the card for this is quite big, Kevin. Let's start off with the main event. It's going to be Swerve Strickland versus Bryan Danielson for the AEW World Championship. If Bryan Danielson loses, he is done with professional wrestling. Done as an in-ring competitor. And Swerve Strickland will carry on. What do you think's going to lay out here? It's Bryan Danielson.
I'll say this, and I said this with Robert the other day too. I don't think it's easy to predict this because there's a lot of combustible elements all at the same time, which is good. But I don't think AEW's taking advantage of spinning all of those plates at the same time in one storyline. The promo from Bryan was the best I think he's done in AEW. I don't mean that he's done some great promos, but I don't think I've seen an on the microphone moment with him that top stuff he did in WWE. And that's no crap. That isn't like, AEW's not as good as I'm not going down that road. I'm just saying I haven't seen a microphone thing where it's just him and the promo and the mic in the ring. Like they've done some vignettes with him that are wonderful, right? But this is one of those like character things where it's like, this is what they wanted. They were building to this. Like, you got to fire up, dude. Like, you've won the tournament, but since the Owen Hart thing, you kind of like cooled off and you're injured and you're worried and you got to get back to who you are. Remember who you are. And so that kind of came at the right time. with everything he put on the line to kind of fire himself up. All right, if you're going to say your career's on the line, that's got to matter. And then you have the real life situation where he's working without a contract, and Brian's not a guy who puts that stuff out there and doesn't. He wouldn't say something like that to work for people. He's not that guy. But at the same time, he's a guy who's jokes about lying. So I mean, what's real, what's not? Maybe he doesn't mind working people anymore. In that regard, but he's been a guy who says, I don't want to go out there and have matches that are bad. I don't want to go out there and do matches I don't think. But he's also a guy that doesn't mind losing. So it's a lot of conflicting elements in terms of his approach to things, but that's what's made him so successful. He loves the in-ring. That's what he's all about. But his contract is done. And this is a guy who left the competitor at a time when the competitor had some creative issues. Now a lot of those have been resolved, or at least have evolved away from that. And now you have this guy who they can't go out there and say, this is his last match in AEW. We think he's going to leave. But what is everyone saying? You know, so everyone's saying that. So you can't say, it's like one of those weird things, like WWE, like we can't acknowledge that people were turning on Roman Reigns. We have to be able to play on it to get people into it. It's kind of the same thing where you've built the fire up so much. At some point you got to put it out and start a new fire. And so I thought that was correcting the course a lot. And it doesn't do any favors for Swerve, who's a great wrestler and a great character here. But I do think they're going to have a great match. But it feels 50-50. And I guess that's what you want. A big match, a big consequence. Could he win the title and stay with AEW? If he does win the title and stay with AEW, how long is that? And what is that scenario? Does that mean he signed a new deal? It doesn't. And so that's another thing for people. If he just wins the title, it doesn't mean he stays forever. Also, he's like a part-time wrestler. So there's just a lot of am I wrong that there's just enough confusion with that? I mean, it's the match I'm most excited for on the card, probably next to Ospreay and MJF. And that's kind of what you want. And I just think it should feel bigger than it is, but it is big. They got it where they needed it to be this week. And they got the go home that you wanted from it, and it was the right thing to kind of close up the show, because I thought the Mercedes Moné Britt Baker stuff is that started off hot, and that has cooled off quite a bit.
It really has. Yeah, I heard you and Robert talking about that yesterday too, and yeah, I can't agree any more with you. I will say I don't think Mercedes Moné was as bad. She's not, her ultimate swing is not being on the microphone, but I thought
they put her on the mic too much.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? If you're not gonna wrestle that much and you want to do the part-time wrestler but be featured and I'm an attraction, just come and see me, and then you got to be great on the microphone. Then you know what I mean? So it's part of it. The Rock can get away with it because he's the Rock. You know what I mean? So you needed to build up that part of your game, and I just haven't seen that.
Yeah. Well, so as far as Danielson and Swerve goes, I think the lines are very well done, blurred. I do lean to the fact that Danielson is sticking around. He's going to win this match and going to be that champion finally, because I think he's been really glomming on a lot of this stuff about here's my game plan for after what I would do when I retire.
Yeah,
when I'm done in the ring.
He's not a dumb guy. He knows people are going to talk about that stuff.
Yeah,
so
and I don't think
at least I'll be a part of the conversation.
I don't think he has too much of an issue of kind of working the audience and the fans about this.
Do you think that's what it is?
I think it is. I greatly do think it is a big aspect of that. So, my prediction will be that Danielson wins, and then I also think Swerve drops the title, obviously, and that kind of gets him more on a direction of being a good heel again. And I hope they stick with him as a heel more so than anything else. Just give him a direction. You don't want to keep moving him back and forth. Have him stay in one area there and go that way.
That was the issue. I think he was getting a lot of popularity, but they did stuff with him right before the title at and then he got the title, and they did great stuff with him and Hangman. But I remember this match with that was supposed to be the catapult him. They did this with Rock and Mankind 25 years ago. He's going to beat up Mankind for months and months, and Mankind's going to be a beloved guy, but still going to beat him up, still going to end him, put him away. And that's kind of what you want to Swerve to be able to do with Keith Lee.
Yeah.
And Keith got issues. Right? All right, let's put Dustin Rhodes out there. And then have him do this 20-minute match after an angle where he breaks him with it. So then it's wait, you're supposed to cheer for this guy?
Mhm.
And the guy who like breaks into someone's house and he's got a cool theme song. So it's like, what? Like it's a lot of those things where it's like, no, I don't have to cheer for the villain. Don't
Yes.
stop trying to make the villains be cool. Be a
Yeah,
villain.
exactly. Have him really lean into being the heel, being
Yes.
like a chicken shit, being like this
Yes.
guy that's, akin to an MJF that, and even if he starts, still gets
Can do a
cheered.
Lesnar.
Yeah,
Lesnar doesn't, there's no, he has no
even if he
allegiance. Oh,
still
if you
gets
like me,
cheered,
great. If you love me, great. If
just
you
have
don't,
him do it. Just
yeah.
have him do it. Have him fight through the cheers, everything like that. Just make him be this ultimate heel going.
And he's capable of it.
Yes.
I think he's one of those guys that I like to call it the fourth wall. He knows where that fourth wall is.
Yes.
Swerve is one of the guys that is so good at giving a projection of his character in moments of the match between moves. There's not many people that figure that out quickly, or
Yes.
even it takes them years and years and years to figure this out. This is from me being around the independents and working on the television side of it. He knows where the camera is at all times. At all times. And he's captivating about it. Danielson has this. Some like a lot of the top tier guys in WWE figure that out. Swerve has that. And we haven't even seen it. Some people are like, oh, he's gonna get buried. Don't do that impulsive stuff. He's gonna lose the title. They're gonna have a great match. That's kind of what I'm leaning on. But I think, hey, if he is leaving, if Danielson does lose, what does that say? You know what I mean? Like, so I think that's a question worth asking.
That's a question worth asking about what's that say about AEW still, and like where their priorities lie and how they're thinking about things. And like even now, it's just like you're pulling the trigger on Danielson now when you probably should have pulled the trigger on him way early on of having him win the championship.
They had him lose too many matches. They had him lose too many big matches, which is it's retrospective critiquing, right? And also he doesn't mind. He just wants to go out, and the finish is not the biggest thing for him. He just wants to have the best match on the show, and he will have it, and usually he does. But if you look at the track record, he hasn't won a lot of those.
No,
he won the tournament. I saw the Pac match. It was amazing. I was there live for it. The MJF one, amazing. It was great. Lost. So like a lot of those, it's like, wow, especially on pay-per-view. You know, when you're getting people to pay money and they're a WWE fan, they love Daniel Bryan, Bryan Danielson, they tune in for that, and you want to get that fan to come over, and then you don't give them a triumphant moment that often.
Yeah, how's it paying out, kind of thing. You need to make this pay off. Hopefully, I can't say it's reported he's not under contract, but is there a handshake agreement? Daniel Bryan.
The thing is, he can't say that and not mean it. You know what I mean? Yeah, I think there's a handshake thing. But like, I know we're getting away from the card. Where would he? I mean, he says part-time, right? He doesn't want to wrestle full-time. He's talking about his daughter wanting him to come home and she wants him to lose and all these different things. Like, put it out there, bud. I mean, I'm not rooting for Stanford here, but come on. If he's not under contract and he said that publicly, who's calling him?
Yeah.
Who's calling him?
Yeah.
This isn't the same WWE. This is the William Morris Endeavor monolith mega company who has resources that I've seen and talked to people utilized in business since Vince McMahon has been out of the picture. That will rattle people. That will rattle the industry in a way that you don't see coming. You don't see this unless you see pen to paper. The money that is being offered right now, the comfort that is being offered to people at the highest level to wrestle for X, Y, and Z.
Yeah.
And then we're going to give you all these other things. And then if you want to go and be wrestling somewhere else once or twice a year, yes, we will work with you on that. And maybe you want to train. All right. There's a guy in Chicago, CM Punk, who seems very, very happy about where he is. And that is not an act. I can tell you this is not an act.
I believe
so.
It
If he went back there and he got put through a legal war with the company, right? Independently. Bryan Danielson left creatively frustrated. He could come back and be like, all right, okay, all right, wait, all right. Yeah, Sean, I'll come down and run some classes, run the NXT. Come on. Like for a guy at his age in his 40s, he wants to still be around it if he's not going to be in the ring. He still wants to have a handful of banger matches. He's had him in AEW. He's done what he could do for them. All right, you want to do the part-time thing? Come on.
I believe this was Robert that brought this up too earlier on the show, was that if you want to keep Danielson around, Tony Khan should really prioritize ROH as your NXT, and then create a system for Danielson to do what Shawn Michaels, do what CM Punk ultimately wants to do.
I agree. And if you're gonna keep him around, and you and I were at a press conference, I believe, Forbidden Door last year, right? And like the connection between Tony Khan and Bryan Danielson was the most legitimate, not just like, hey, I'm the promoter and I'm here, and you're getting a lot like there's been awkward interactions between him and talent that just, that seems odd, right? Or it's just like, this is purely transactional, nothing wrong about it. Whereas them, it was like there was a gel, and you even had Tony Khan saying, like, if I couldn't run this company, Bryan Danielson is the guy that would do that.
He said,
and I was like, that's a lot. That's a lot to say. That's a lot of like that you are really showing some cards there that you don't have to show. And for him to say it, Tony has to mean that. Like you can't put that out there and not back that up. So I think he could stay with All Elite Wrestling and be very, very happy. Very, very happy.
Absolutely.
Bryan Danielson is the winner in this business conversation, no matter what.
Create the environment for him to stay. Give him the incentive to stay, and make it a residence for him that he doesn't want to move away from. Like, because WWE, you just said it all right there. You laid it all out there for what the incentive could be for him to go back there. We'll have to hammer through a lot of this card quickly because I have a little bit of a hard out here, at least at 12:45. But let's do this. Mercedes Moné and Britt Baker. We talked about them just a little bit. Mercedes got to win this one, right? She's got to carry on.
Yeah. And I think they got to open with this. I think they got to. This has to be that main pay-per-view opener. Big stars, big names. Opening matches in the main events are what the things that really bookend a show in the proper way. And I think this is the one to go with. But at the same time, this should be a way more captivating story than it is.
Right.
And all of the BS backstage has soured upon it, and especially when AEW's audience is no crack at them. It's just more hyper diehard fans that follow the news, right? And that whole situation, why am I cheering for somebody who just brought up all the negativity again? Like, why am I supposed to? And I should. This is somebody who came back from like a very serious health situation.
Yeah.
And Britt Baker. I should be excited. And I've already forgotten about that.
Really got me. She got me like, oh man, that's a great little way to keep things in perspective. That is how she put it out. And now I don't forget. She looks like the bad guy in this.
Yes.
And I know she got cheered. And
also, like, Mercedes is doing bad guy 101. I got a big heater with me. I'm the short lady. I got Camille in the corner, just beating people up. I'm attacking you, and there's this and there's that, and but they're doing all that. But then we had to do like the distraction thing, and then this and that, and then it was just like some of it was like a little overdone. But then I guess you got to keep it interesting week to week. The build to this hasn't been as strong. Has Britt wrestled on TV since she's been back, or is it just been?
She wrestled Hikaru Shida, I believe.
That wasn't that long ago, right?
No, it wasn't that long ago.
And Mercedes, I don't think she's ever wrestled on Dynamite, right? So I mean, they kind of keep her like a pay-per-view attraction. I mean, maybe she's wrestled once, like, and it wasn't like
but it's definitely more of a pay-per-view attraction.
So I mean, that's the part of the appeal for Mercedes is I'm going to be this big star and only do a handful of matches. What any wrestler wants to do. Work as little as possible, get paid as much as possible.
Right.
But that ROI for me, that return on investment for fans, this isn't a match where I'm pumped for it. And also, I'll say this. This may be the most, I don't really care who wins. That is the hardest thing I can say about this match. Britt could win, and it's a good thing, and she's back on the map. And Mercedes did right by this company that paid her. Mercedes can win and prove, I'm a stadium attraction again. I was at this show last year. This made me want to sign with AEW. I'm back here. I'm in this arena. I'm at this level again, right?
Yeah. I kind of think it is very important for AEW to keep the title on Mercedes.
Yes, it is.
It's for the company and the benefit of it. You want to make sure that what you're saying, return on investment, you're getting from it. And right now you're not getting it. And that's I would say that's greatly.
The needle hasn't moved, and this is something that Sasha Mercedes was supposed to do. I was there in July at a show. in Chicago, great market for AEW. I did not get the impression that the Sasha fans that you see and feel online were present, that they've connected with this, that all of them were super excited when she showed up in New Japan. That's kind of cooled off, you know. But I still think she has a huge following online. She maintains it in her own way. She's doing this newsletter stuff, so good on her. But I don't see it converting. Yeah, I don't think she's converted the crowd that loved her in WWE. I don't think they've converted, and I don't know what that is. I don't have a specific reason, but it isn't one. It's multiple things.
It's multiple things. It's the positioning. It's the booking. It's a lot of stuff. I don't think it necessarily.
All those fans are still WWE fans.
Yeah. I don't think this falls on necessarily the talent as much as it does on what the company is doing.
Feels like TNA 10 years ago. You know, when big names would go over there and people are like, "Oh, you still wrestling?" And Mick Foley would be at an airport. He's like, "Yeah, yes, I am. Yeah,
I'm doing it." Cool. Next up, we got this is the other argument you could be made for the opening match. Would probably be MJF defending the American Championship against.
I think do you think they closed with that? They're closing with Danielson and Swerve. Like that's the main event, right? Danielson
Swerve. I definitely think they do.
So
I think the argument could be made that this could open the show because Ospreay. I tell you what, I didn't watch all of Dynamite on Wednesday, but I did catch.
Great show. They did a great job. It was the best I felt about All In the last month, for sure.
Yeah, and I did catch up on I caught the Ospreay promo, and man, you want somebody that can sell you a ticket? It's Will Ospreay doing that.
And also I'll give this to Will. He did that hokey promo with Triple H, and he took the shot at him, and like no one reeled him in. But the matches have been fantastic. He hasn't had a match that I didn't think was like captivating. But I will say this, and especially with MJF could have smoked him on the mic, could have, and still can. But he didn't. And he focused on the story. And he focused on the notes I got to play. I got to be scumbag, dirty, nasty, bastard MJF.
Yes.
And you got to be valiant, idealistic. I fight for the people. I fight for the right reasons. I came here to be the guy that they want me to be. And I'm going to be that guy and so much more. Delivered on that. He proved, a lot of people said, Will Ospreay, he cuts a good promo, but it's not great. This was great. This is he's in a stride. The ROI much higher on Will Ospreay, I think.
Yeah,
he's the guy I think that actually is keeping people. He's the churn burner. He's putting off the churn burn. He's the firefighter on that. People talk about churn. You get on a subscription service, you like it, you're done with it, you drop it, right?
Yeah,
he's the guy where if you turn into AEW, I'm gonna keep watching for him, and MJF obviously as well.
Yeah, I agree. Those are your top two guys you want to keep your focus on. And I think, despite this not being a world title match, it's still a high stakes match. And it's still it has that feel of a world championship match.
It's one of the many titles you forget that exist in AEW.
Exactly. And I think they really need to address that. I think they need to do like a big unification kind of event, maybe call pay-per-view unification and just whittle these titles down to the right ones.
They need to double them down like a KFC sandwich. They need they need to put a layer of cheese between one belt and then sandwich them together.
Sandwich them together, give them away. They're just make it happen because oh man, make me hungry now. We got another women's championship match. It's Toni Storm versus Mariah May.
What about that angle they did with the Owen Hart final? That was great. It was some great stuff. Kind of cooled off this weird thing they had Toni Storm doing with Saraya.
Look, that was all. I hated that. I saw that match.
And Saraya should be on the card. She should be involved. She's a huge UK star. You need to have her there. You want to talk about somebody who I think is looking at the door. I think it's her. She's had her fun in AEW, right? I'm sorry. She's had her fun in AEW, but that's another one that was supposed to be a needle mover. She was so excited to go there and went there, and it was fun for a while. And look what they did with how a difference here. You forgot that she was on the show some weeks, and I don't think anybody wants to feel that way. Last year, she won the belt in that stadium in the UK, and you have a huge UK name, and you're using her on the go home to get somebody there.
Just a huge disservice that they did to her.
And sometimes it's circumstantial though too. And this is somebody who's not going to wrestle all the time because of the injury, right?
But that's definitely an aspect of it all. But it's just like, man, you brought her back the expectation of that we would not see her in the ring again, and AEW created that opportunity and that outlook for fans, and then just completely underserved again. And for her to go up against Toni Storm in this almost forgettable win that happens with Toni Storm, like it was just like she was an afterthought. And yeah, if she's not being re-signed, then yeah, move on. But like what Robert was saying yesterday, have her go up against Mariah May and get some value out
Big
of that.
time.
That's what you're doing.
I was like, this isn't Tony could be involved, but
Yes.
Mariah needs that. She needs the momentum. You know what I mean? Like she needs to be built up like that. But as for this, does Mariah May win this belt? Is Tony going to lose here?
Yeah, she wins. I think she wins it, and rightfully so, because people will still be rooting for Toni Storm with the thrill of the chase aspect of it all. And you want to establish Mariah May as your next one of your next big women division stars, and you can create some cool opponents moving forward when Jamie Hayter gets healthy. And you still have, obviously, if Mercedes wins, you can create that kind of intrigue later on down the line. If somebody turns babyface, Britt Baker can get in the mix with that. So there's opportunities there. Plus, you got like so many women in there, like from Thunder Rosa and all this other talent that you can kind of add into the mix here.
And a lot of them don't like Britt Baker, apparently.
She's creating a reputation. Like, what are you gonna do? Where do your priorities lie? Sure. What is her ROI now? I think it's a lot less. I do. And listen, she's good on the mic, but you put her in the WWE when it comes to the some of the talent that they have there on the women's division. She's like, okay, B+, B-.
Talking about Britt here?
Britt. I'm talking about Britt when it comes to other people, other women on the mic. I don't
on the main roster.
Yeah. Yeah, she's good, but if I had hair, she wouldn't have blown back. That's it.
Bald is beautiful, brother.
Bald is
right
beautiful. Bald
there
is
we
beautiful.
go.
We have the tag team championship match. We have the Young Bucks and FTR. Speaking of bald, versus the Acclaimed. Weird setup this whole time. I will say. Just kind of feels like we're shoehorning it in a little bit. And
this should be such a bigger match.
It should be.
Like when on paper you look at that, you're like, you know what I mean? That's the problem I have with this All In. Like everything should feel bigger. Like it should all feel like, oh wow, Yeah,
and it doesn't have that kind of vibe to it. This match in particular, the Young Bucks have been given this Roman Reigns leading up to Road to WrestleMania vibe, where they're like barely defending the title. But Roman Reigns has the cachet, while the Young Bucks have won this in a heelish manner, and then just have not
chicken shiz.
Yeah. So
I believe is the term. They're being real shizzy. No riz, all shiz.
All shiz.
But yeah.
What do you do with it? Who do you think's going to win this match here, Kev? Is it the Young Bucks keep it? Do you give it to the FTR or the Acclaimed? I think the Acclaimed. I think I'm kind of done with I think they.
And what happened there? I know we're just being all poo-poo on this company right before pay-per-view.
Sure.
The Acclaimed were red hot. They were a complete in-house creation. They were complete, like only in AEW. We didn't bring in anyone else in this. These guys are only here. They're not a TNA thing. They're an AEW thing, right? Yes. And developing talent and all those resources that Khan invested in bringing in independent guys during the pandemic and utilizing them to fill out the roster. That was great. And they were one of the benefits of that. But I just think how much they cooled off. I don't get what happened. There's been rumor and speculation about them getting kicked out. Rumor and innuendo, and speculation. Okay,
that's when you join in is the speculation part.
Yes, that's when I jump into the show while it's live. But no, just like this should be bigger. Buck should feel bigger. FTR, I don't like. I think they'll deliver. I think it'll be a great match. And also, AEW's had weird builds to shows, and then you get to the show, and the show is great.
The show is always great. That's the thing too. This could be a fantastic show. And like I know we're kind of really, hey, the build has not been good. The build has not been good, and that's kind of been the theme of our predictions here. But it's kind of like no. When push comes to shove, these shows have been excellent. So it's not that I'm not excited for this, but here, Kev, you can create a big moment here. There's an opportunity to do this where it's like
Bucks win. Bucks win.
Bucks win. Yeah.
I mean, you look at the card objectively, you can't have every good guy leave with the belt, right?
No.
So you need to have a bad guy get a nasty moment and have something to chase. You got All Out in 2 weeks. I think this is a match that builds to something at All Out.
But the moment you can create is Max Caster turning on Anthony Bowens at the end.
Yes.
And then boom, you gave this a reason. You gave this a moment for, and not only for that Wembley Stadium, but you give it a moment for Max, you give it a moment for Bowens, and then the Bucks carry on with the tag titles. What's next for them? What is going on with Max Caster and Anthony Bowens now? That acclaim is officially broken up. You make this a moment.
Can we talk about the match I think that's going to steal the show?
What is it? Let's go ahead.
Jack Perry and Darby Allin are going to run with this.
Do you think that's going to be the one, huh?
If they get enough time and they don't get that dreaded number 2 slot that no one wants on a card, right? That no one wants that. They don't want the number 2 slot. They, if they get like semi-main or something like that, and they get like in the middle somewhere, and they get like a good 10-15 minutes, they can do something really cool here. And that I guarantee something's going to happen where that match gets no DQ. Because that's are they doing the casket gimmick or no?
Yes, they are. Coffin match.
Yeah. Yep. So that's like basically it, right? Mm-hmm. I was like, I'm sorry, I was looking at the notes. I didn't see the casket thing, and I saw it before. I was like, oh, they didn't take a gimmick off a match. They don't do that. This match is now a singles match. Like no one ever does. The casket match last year was fun, but it wasn't the spectacle you expect with the Darby Allin thing. And Darby Allin is going to come into this match with the overtones of Jack Perry having to reference glass. And, you had Darby bumping on glass will be involved. This is a glass and casket match. It's a glasket match. There will be a there'll be a glass casket. I'll make that prediction.
That's it. That's how you fall into it. Mm-hmm.
Yes, and you break through it, and that's it. But you know what? I'm gonna lose. I went through the glass.
Yes.
All of that. There'll be some insane violence, a lot of blood. This will be the over-the-top thing. Both these guys will shine. I don't see Jack like losing.
I think
because like it's another bad guy needs to win, and I do think the Bucks get involved and cost him something, and there you go.
Absolutely, I agree with that too. Next up, we'll close out here pretty quick. Yeah, match I'm kind of excited for. Seems to be a lot of intrigue is the Casino Gauntlet match. I love what they've done with this match and made it their own thing in AEW. Just don't want them to go to the well too many times, but this is an exciting moment, I think, to introduce some new stars and kind of have a lot of fun.
Ricochet. Is this a guarantee that he comes out in this match? Ricochet signing with AEW. That's the word. Fightful put it out there. We saw this one coming a million miles away. He did the favors in WWE on the way out. I like the way he got written out of WWE. They made him feel like a star, even though he got bashed around. I was like, that was meaningful. You made a guy on the way out. Good on you. And now he signs a multi-year deal with AEW. Good on him. I think he comes out. Maybe he wins this, and gets a world title shot right away.
Yeah,
which would be interesting. But this is also where we get to see Jeff Jarrett, the reborn and beloved Jeff Jarrett, versus that no good, nasty, spitting blood on people, Hangman Adam Page. And I think they get to do something here. Did you hear about this insane tip of the cap to Jeremy Lambert over at Fightful reporting? I think he did this just to get everyone talking, and I maybe he's just working somebody, but it made me laugh just to think about it. That they would bring in Taylor Swift somehow. I was like, I don't believe this at all. He just completely connected whatever distant dot. Taylor Swift legitimately babysat Jeff Jarrett's kids when they were very young, and so would she come out and hand him the guitar that he bashes somebody over the head with, which would be funny.
I would like Chappelle.
That'd be hilarious if she legitimately did that. That would be like there'd be nothing else on the show that anyone would need to talk about.
Her and Chappelle Roan square off against one another, I think. In the
Chaperone gonna whoop that ass, dude. Chaperone HTOGO, baby. Yeah. HTTOGO, man. That's what it is. You go to the Pink Pony Club, you're getting your ass kicked. You try and take her spot.
Don't screw with the Swifties either. I'm a big fan of both, Kevin. I like both.
Oh.
All right. So I guess we covered the main ones. Is there any other matches that I missed when it comes to this show? The card's actually not that bad. if those are the only matches, I'm not overwhelmed by this.
I saw a comment here I wanted to get to before we sign off here. Do you think real glass will be used? Yes, Devin, I do. But Devin also had a question here that I thought was interesting here. Tonight will be official. Rampage will have more episodes than WCW Thunder. Is it time to end Rampage and put ROH on television? Well, does your TV partner want to do that? You've seen Tony Khan say we'll just call it AEW Ring of Honor, and Ring of Honor will just be a TV show, and we'll call it All Elite Wrestling Ring of Honor, just so we can work our way around the Ring of Honor name not being what it should be.
They did that.
It seems weird on the surface, but it'd be more practical. Yeah, I mean, what is Rampage? I'm not talking shiz, but I mean, what is Rampage? This was a huge deal when they launched this thing. I was at the debut, and they had Punk and sold out the United Center with it, and now it's not a show that people make time for or talk about the same way, and it feels like really being relegated. Like if you're on that show, that's WWE main event. It's a pure syndicated show, handful of short matches, heavy on vignettes and recap packages. Nothing wrong with it. It's the definition of a Saturday morning catch-up recap wrestling show. And I don't think you want that on a Friday night, So, but it for what they're doing with it, it's doing that. The Ring of Honor could benefit from that. I wouldn't be opposed to it. What do you think about this TV deal? Do you think AEW announces something with this TV deal that we're in the red zone about? Do you think Warner Brothers is going to roll out something? They're going to get a big deal. Apparently, they're going to get good money. Do you think that gets announced this week? This would be the time to do it, right?
It really should be. I think the trigger should be pulled almost immediately. I think an argument could be made, Tony, if they have a deal already made, that it should have been announced already, leading up to this weekend, yesterday or something like that when it comes to it. So it's just get the word out there now. It's high time to start doing it now that the buzz is around AEW, at least for this weekend.
Do you want me to tell you how I think they could have a real problem with this, though, by how they announce it?
Yeah, let's hear it.
You announce it on a pay-per-view where people are paying what? $50?
Yeah.
And this deal is supposed to be so leaning heavy on them doing something on Max, a streaming service, which is just a subscription fee every month. They announce on this, we're bringing everything. Everything's going to Max. And you're going to get next day. They did next day Dynamite on Max. Woo! Yeah. That'd be great, right? You get Dynamite. Mm-hmm. But would you be getting the pay-per-views? Would you be getting the premium live event model that WWE's had now for over 10 years on a Peacock or WWE Network? And it's going to be on Netflix now, where you're paying a fee, you just get a flat fee, and you get that big show every month. And for some people, this, that's just what they watch. They don't watch the week to week. They just watch the SummerSlam, the Mania, what have you, right? If AEW can get to that point and have their brand, AEW, right next to a DC movie and the new big, great rub for them. Wonderful, right? A lot of people would see them. WWE's going to have new fans in January, revive fans that just see them on Netflix, right? Mm-hmm. That's awesome. But I do think, what does that say to the people that buy your pay-per-view? If you say, oh, by the way, in a few months, because they're not going to say that this is happening imminently. They're going to say this is going to happen at this date, right?
Yeah.
I think you announced Dynamite is going to stay on TNT, and you're going to get next day streaming on Max. Oh, and by the way, in December, we're going to move the pay-per-view over there or something like that too. They have to be they're going to be obviously I'm saying things that are surface level observations, but they have to be calculated about it. Don't you think? That's the only thing I was you're going to be very specific about this and how you announce this.
You got to keep it in perspective. Got to keep it in perspective. I would wait now that you didn't make the announcement beforehand. Wait till after the pay-per-view.
Especially if they move pay-per-view over there. If they move pay-per-view over there, and it's a great move for them, and it's the right move, and it's what people want. But don't make me feel bad for spending $50, bud.
Right. Well, Kev, tell what the people should want with you. What do you got?
Oh man, I'm so busy. So if you follow me and you're in the greater Midwestern area, I'm doing the Standing Me Ups comedies. Tonight I will be on stage at 2 different comedy clubs. I'll be in Lincoln Lodge at 7 p.m. I'll be at Laugh Factory at 11:30, both parts of town. So if you're in Chicago, follow me. If you guys are watching, follow me on the Instagram. I just cracked 2,000. I have clips. I have comedy things. I have rock radio things I do on there as well that are not wrestling related. Go follow me at Kev Kellum. I'm on Sportskeeda Wrestling all the time. We just cracked 150,000 subscribers on YouTube, which is really great. We do the kind of like the essay documentary format. I'm doing a new weekly hot take thing where I literally just read the comments and I just kind of riff on your comments, which is really, really fun to do. And that did like 10, 15,000 views in a day, which is really fun. Thank you so much. Appreciate that. Shout out to Pratya. Shout out to Prakar. Shout out to the old Mumbai boys over for holding it down for me on the video end with Sportskeeda. People talk crap about Sportskeeda, but Sports Kevin Wrestling, ripping it, dude. And I'm having a good time with them. And so definitely go check that stuff out. And you can hear me on the radio on Q101, streaming anywhere in the world. Chicago's alternative rock radio station. I'll be on air for them tomorrow afternoon.
Ooh, nifty. You know what? Turn up the radio too for Kevin Kellum.
Turn up the radio, which is fun too. Tom, what about you? How was Vegas, buddy?
Vegas was great. Yeah, I gave him a little bit of a lowdown at the beginning of the show, but it was awesome. Loved it. Cauliflower Alley is such a great organization, and the event that they put on was wonderful. So, guys, if you have that opportunity, go check out Cauliflower Reunion. You will see the speeches on OneTrueSportTV.com. So take a look over there. We got the Dudley Boys getting inducted. We got Kurt Angle getting inducted. We got Sting going to get inducted. All this happened already, but you'll see the videos on OneTrueSportTV.com. So become a member there and take a look and see if it fits your needs. But thank you, ad-free shows. Thank you, Kevin Kellum. Thank you, SC Scoops. And thank you, the fans, most importantly, for the rumor, the innuendo, and the speculation. Hey, Kevin, good luck in your future endeavors.
Oh, good luck in your... We didn't...
Tell me. You can tell me.
Billy in the CW.
He's always on my mind.